Welcome to the Band Director Bootcamp podcast, the go-to place for busy band directors who want practical to build programs while maintaining balance in their lives. This podcast is brought to you by the Empowered Music Educator Academy, where we help directors like you find efficiency, sustainability, and impact in your teaching and leadership. And speaking of impact, our platinum sponsor, Kennelly Keys Music, has been serving musicians with a commitment to quality, reliability, and exceptional service. Whether you need top-tier instruments, expert repairs, or trusted advice, they've got you covered. Now, let's dive in and set the tempo for success.
Welcome to Band Director Bootcamp, the podcast with productivity and wellness tips for busy band directors. I'm your host, Lesley Moffat, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this platform with you. We know you don't have time to watch long professional development webinars, so we bring 20-minute tidbits with takeaways you can use to help make your life a little bit easier. And today's guest is going to talk about the power of girl power, the power of finding people who get you, who can support you, who you can support, and what that means and why that's important. And I'm super grateful to have her here. Her name is Dr. Amy Bovin, and she's an educator and a researcher who's dedicated her work to understanding the power of community and specifically how women can better support one another in professional and personal lives. She's done a ton of research that dives deep into the importance of finding your people and building a team that helps you thrive. So whether you felt isolated or you're looking to make your support system even stronger, I'm hoping that today's episode leaves you something, because it's going to be packed with actionable insights and things that you can do, because Amy has done the work and she's going to give us some help here. So Amy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me again. I'm so excited to be back.
I'm stoked, because what you and I are going to talk about today is sort of how we've gotten to know each other even better. And that is, Amy and I met through Women Band Directors International, WBDI, which I found years ago, kind of by accident. And I was like, wait, there's all these other women out there that do this, and they have a group, but they talk to each other and they do conferences. And it was an eye-opening experience. People like you, Amy, and all those other women that I met, and just felt like I knew you instantly when we were in that space together. So I want other people, if they haven't thought about that, to really think about what is it like to not feel like an isolated island out there as a music teacher, and why is this important? So ready to talk?
Absolutely. I love talking.
That I know. So our takeaways for all you listeners, we're going to talk about why it's really important now, more now than ever, to build a strong and supportive community. And Amy's going to share some actionable steps so that, like, if you're thinking, oh, it sounds great, but how can I do that? She's going to tell you. She knows everything. And then, give some ideas of how you can do that and how to welcome others too, because that's part of this process. We got to all be out there for each other. And that creates just this ripple effect of inclusion. And I'm pretty sure most of you out there listening, that's the kind of place you want, or situation you want to be in. So, Amy, give us a little bit of your background. Why are you so passionate about this? What's the story?
So we'll go all the way back to when I finished my undergrad, and I'm in my very first high school band director job, my very first teaching job. I'm at a region festival and I'm looking around, and I'm like the only female band director there. To make it worse, I'm sitting in the audience and I'm watching my students on stage rehearse, and they're with the clinician. And somebody comes up to me and goes, "Aren't you supposed to be on stage?" And that's a kitten in the background. Anyway, and I go, "Aren't you supposed to be on stage?" And I go, "What do you mean?" And I go, "Am I supposed to be helping? What am I supposed to be doing?" And they said, "Well, aren't you a student?" I go, "No, I'm not a student. I'm actually one of the directors." And they go, "Oh, well, I've never seen a female band director before." And so at that moment, I went, okay, I kind of understand why I'm the only one here. And I made it my mission since then. And this is going back now. This was 2009. So 16 years I've been on this journey to try to discover, why are there not a lot of women band directors out there, or the ones who identify as female or identify as a woman as a band director, and what can we do? And so I start searching and I start looking around my state to try and figure out where are all the female band directors and what do we need and what can we do to really have something? Because I never myself had a female mentor. So I start reaching out to some people that I know, specifically my drum majors who were female that are now teaching band, and they're still teaching band. And I tried to make my own little support system, but it was very much state centered. I go back to grad school and I walk away being the first female with an instrumental conducting degree, band emphasis, from the University of Connecticut in 2013. And I went, okay, it's 2013 and I'm the first woman to actually get this. Like there's something going on. You know, my professors, I could tell, I think, didn't really know what to do with me, didn't know what to have me wear, didn't really, there was something there. And I went, as much as I want to have as many colleagues as possible, as much as I would love to become a member of the boys club one day, why not just make my own club and find something? And I was discussing this with a colleague and they said, well, you should look at WBDI. And I went, well, what's that? And now we're both members of WBDI, and it is a group for women to come together and women band directors. And I actually just got elected the president of the state of Florida for WBDI.
Bravo.
Thank you. But it's just, whether you're a part of this organization or you're part of any other organization, there's a lot of groups that are out there. You can find them on Facebook, you can find them online, but it's so important to have somebody as a mentor who looks like you, and to be a mentor to someone who looks like you. And that's where the two sides of the profession, I feel, we're lacking that cohesion and that connectivity. My research, which you alluded to, discovered that although the number of female band directors, at least at the high school level, is slightly increasing, not by much, but we're about a little less than a third are identifying as female now. That means that there's about 70% that are men. But there's 30% out there that look like you, that either could use a mentor or that you could use as your mentor, or just something just to help each other out. Because the issues that we have as women, what we go through in our daily lives as women, are so unique to us as humans. And whether it be navigating health issues, whether it be trying to figure out if you want to become a mother, if you are a mother, if you want to move forward with a certain relationship, or how am I going to handle this, that there are so many that have those answers out there. You just don't know of it because we need to just come together more. And this is where the girl power thing really comes in, that support each other, because the answers that you have, there's someone out there that has those questions for you. And the answers that you have yourself, there's somebody that has the questions and they're just waiting to ask them.
Yeah. When I started teaching in the 1980s, high school band, let me tell you how many high school band directors there were women back then. Not hardly any. And it was so isolating. And I've told the story before of going to Midwest in the early 90s and feeling like I so did not belong. First of all, I had one baby on my hip and another in a stroller, so they didn't take me seriously. And it took me 30 years to go back. Had a positive experience this time, but I felt for a very long time like I don't belong. I'm not good enough. And I thought a lot of it was because I'm a woman, just because that was the vibe I always got. And I don't think it was men doing it to be assholes, most of them, but it was not very welcoming. And again, I think, I don't know, there just weren't very many of us doing it. So we didn't go fishing with the guys, didn't do those things. I know there's a lot of folks that do that out here, and we didn't. So yeah, WBDI was a lifeline for me. My big regret was not finding it sooner in my teaching career. I'm on the back end of mine, right? I'm on year 37, and it was more than 30 years of teaching before I discovered that. So if any of you folks out there are listening and you're towards, the more beginning of your career, for heaven's sakes, listen to what Amy's talking about and find a space with whatever kind of people you can connect with like that. So you talked about the importance of it, obviously, because otherwise just that isolation feeling and the decision making we do. And I run Band Director Boot Camp, which has been a retreat and the like, where I've done stuff, and often women come to that, but I've had some men come to that. And I was interested to find out, when I talked about all the unique things women face, and the man did say, hey, we have issues too. We often feel like we've got to be the main breadwinners, just what society's put on us. And I hadn't really thought, oh yeah, they do too. Probably different kinds of pressures. So it's not a one's better, one's worse, one's right or one's wrong. It's just that we live in sometimes different worlds and stuff. And it's just nice to have people that get it.
Yeah. And actually, like some of the research that I found, that conferences are more stressful situations for men than they are for women. So there's that sense of mentorship too. I mean, if you think about it with Midwest, we walk into McCormick, you look up on the ceiling and what do you see? You see the banners of all these great people before us who have done these incredible things. And it's mostly men. It's just a hall of flags of men. And if you're a brand new teacher, that's what you're looking up to, literally and figuratively. So a lot of men that are coming in and are sitting in these conferences, they are intimidated, whether it is they're vocal about it or not. There's some intimidation factor of, oh, this is what I need to live up to. And I have never even wrote a bus request, and trying to figure that out. So this is this sense of mentorship that, yes, we're talking about girl power today, but just in general, just coming together as a profession and connecting the sides of no matter how long you've been in it, no matter what you're teaching, where you live, what you look like, anything, just coming together because some of us are so isolated within our buildings or in our districts of the only music teacher, the only band director, but you're not the only one in the world. There's so many out there.
You mentioned something that made me think, I learned so much from student teachers or younger teachers because you've been trained very differently or and they come out with so many things. And I think that even though I'm damn near 60 years old, it's not like I have all this to give to others. I'm still learning, right? There's so much I can learn from this. And so no matter where we are in our careers, I think there's value to finding people that can be there for you. Did you end up starting a chapter in Florida or was it there and you
So there's a young woman, Alondra, who was trying to get a chapter going for the last couple of years, and we connected through WBDI. I was named her mentor for WBDI, and so what we're doing is we're using all of the potential that she has and all of that momentum that she started, combining it together with my experience because I'm a past president of Connecticut MEA. So I have that experience in balancing budgets and writing bylaws and following a constitution and everything from Tau Beta Sigma 2. I was a national officer. So putting all of that together, that type of experience, and combined with her enthusiasm that we're doing this team. So I'm going to be the first president, set up all the groundwork so that we can have a successful chapter and then hand it over to her she's the president-elect right now so that we can really start getting a chapter going because our state is huge. You never realize how long Florida is until you have to drive through it. It's huge. So, we're going to get something going, and she's starting in the South End. I'm starting in the middle-ish area of the state. Hopefully we can get some of the North involved and really get something going.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, it is big. And there's a lot of people out there, but it's hard to find them. We have this beautiful thing called the internet now that we didn't have when I started this process. So we can find each other out there and online. Can you give some specific ideas of ways, what somebody could do if they're like, well, I don't know, what do I do? Should I call somebody? Should I pick up a phone? How could somebody just take a step if they're sitting there going, this sounds great, but I don't know what to do for me?
So let's go back to the Midwest scenario because we both talked about Midwest. So the Midwest scenario, if you see somebody sitting by themselves, ask them if they want to be sitting by themselves or if you can join them for lunch. That is something very simple that you could do. If someone is sitting by themselves, if they need a time alone, they'll say it. We're humans, we can communicate, but break that barrier because that could change the course of someone's life with someone literally coming up, hey, can I eat with you? Do you mind? So I'm calling this the nice kid in the cafeteria mentality. That do what we did as kids. As kids, when we were walking around the cafeteria trying not to drop everything on the floor, we would either find our friends or try and sit. And what's the opposite of that? The mean girls table. Don't be the mean girls table. Let someone sit with you. Don't separate yourself based on whatever. Let somebody sit with you if they want to sit with you. Unless obviously, we have important meetings and everything else. But generally, just get to know one another. Another thing is listen to each other, that if you hear somebody talking about something that could potentially be wrong, like, oh, this guy talked to me this way, or I got into this fight with, my assistant principal that she said this that I felt was inappropriate. don't just brush it off. That could be someone's mini call for help. And how can we help each other? Be like, oh, wait, did you have a similar experience? Is there some way that you can empathize with them? If not, maybe sympathize with them. But one of the worst things that we can do, and it's has been done in the profession, is, well, this is how I dealt with it, and it's going to be fine. Well, maybe in your situation it was, but not necessarily for someone else. Give them the validation that they need if you hear about something. And it's really, we need to check in with each other more, especially the ones who are strong. If you think of all the strong women in your life, what if you just sent them a text like, hey, how you doing? How's everything going? Like, what's going on? Or even on the opposite, maybe you met a brand new teacher at a conference, at a festival, at some sort of event. You exchange numbers, check in with them. How are you doing? There's craziness going around us every single day. Check in with each other and just, be there for each other, both within music, but then outside of music. Invite each other to each other's schools. I'm talking about Alondra on Sunday. I'm going down to work with her band. So, just going down, taking a train, which I'm really excited about, and working with someone else's band, make yourselves available. These are simple things that we can all do that in a way benefits us, benefits each other, and
your students.
Your students.
It's kind of win-win.
It is. It's great to bring in a clinician. Why not bring in a clinician that maybe also looks like you? Or someone that looks completely different than you. Think about
just the awareness of it, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, before we continue, I got a couple more questions. We have a few more minutes left, but I want to just take a minute to thank our sponsor, the Empowered Music Educator Academy, the program all about helping busy band directors create successful programs, build strong communities, and feel more balance in their personal and professional lives.
As band directors, we know that success is all about preparation, whether it's in the classroom, on the podium, or behind the scenes. That's why the Empowered Music Educator Academy is here to help you master time management, reduce stress, and create sustainable routines that keep both you and your program thriving. And when it comes to ensuring your musicians have access to top quality instruments and services, Kennelly Keys Music is the name to trust. From rentals and repairs to expert advice and outstanding customer service, Kennelly Keys is committed to keeping your program running smoothly. Visit KennellyKeysMusic.com today to explore their offerings and experience the difference of working with a company that truly cares about music education. Now, back to the show.
All right, we are back wrapping things up with Dr. Amy Bovin. Amy, talk to us a little bit now that I'm going to tell your secret here. You're going to turn 40 soon. She's still 20 years younger than me, so I'm approaching 60 this summer. And I'm determined. I've literally made my goals for this year is to be more fit and happier and healthier at 60 than I was in my 30s and 40s, because I wasn't very healthy at that point, because I was just too into, I didn't have the support group that I needed like this. So talk to us a little bit about you as you kind of hit sort of a transformation time and all these things going on. Kind of just tell us a little bit about you and how you handle it.
I was thinking this with my friends the other day, and I was talking to my husband, Dr. Tim Sexton, who's actually on the couch over there. I was talking to him. Leslie's waving hello. I was talking to them about how I feel like in my 20s, it was, can I do this? Can I be a band director? Can I go through the school and get the degrees and do the things? And can I do this? And I could. Then in my 30s, it's been, should I do this? Okay. I have the background. Should I do this? That's when I went through my divorce. That's when I had a lot of fertility issues. That's when I ended up getting a hysterectomy. What should I do to become better than what I've already had? So it was, can I? It was, should I? And now looking at my 40s, it's, I am. That, I don't want to keep asking the questions. I don't want to keep asking for permission, and just kind of just do it. And I think that what a lot of us have on us is this stigma of who we have to be, that we need to be like this person. We need to be like this. Oh, they're playing this song. We need to do this. We need to bring this to festival. We need to look like this, dress like this, everything else. Mm-hmm. And as I've been going through my 30s and approaching my 40s, I'm just learning more who I am And that's fine. And those who follow me and support me. And those that don't, that's fine. Like, I'm not for everyone. No one's for everybody. But what this has done is force me to really find my people. Find the women specifically, since that's the topic, finding the women that have like-minded values, that have the same ambition as me, you know, such as like Pam, who's running WBDI right now, and Shannon, you know, like we text back and forth, and like having women like that. And, you know, Julia and Tanya, who are going off and writing books, and Erin, who she has her book. And, you know, there's so many of us, and just supporting each other the best way that we can. That's who I'm meant to be around, and that's growing into the person that I become, and it's setting up my foundation for success. But then how can I help out my fellow sisters? What can I do to help out my fellow sisters in the profession? So I'm kind of turning from the mentee in a way to like a mentor is the other one. Like, okay, now I have this. How can I help out those who are going to be taking the same journey that I have?
Beautiful. And you're so much smarter at your age than I was. I wish I had learned these lessons sooner. I'm a slow learner. But what you're talking about, you know, she's dropping names like Shannon and Pam and all of these people. These are WBDI people, full of just incredible people. And so if you're listening today and you're female identifying and you're like, I would like to be part of a group like that, I'm going to put some links in the show notes. And if Fabian's got anything to add, we'll pop them in there. Check out WBDI. It's a nation, well, it's all over, but, you know, national level, of course. I came back after a national conference so excited to join the Washington chapter. And when there wasn't one, I started one, because that's how important it was to me to continue to surround myself with these kinds of people who are just incredible. So I really appreciate you sharing about this and being vulnerable and talking about things that, you know, you struggled with, because that helps other people see, hey, there's hope out there. I can do this. Just need to have the right team with me, right? We can't do it by ourselves.
Exactly.
So, man, it's so fun to get you on here again and to have you come on and share your story and just remind me why I love doing what I do and the people I get to do it with and share about with it. So appreciate this so much, Amy.
Thank you. I love coming on. I mean, I love just talking to you in general, but
yeah, I know. This is the best part.
This is documenting our conversations.
Yeah. And Tim off there on the couch. It was awesome to have you on here too. And so thanks to all of you who continue to show up and listen to the podcast too, showing up to help make a difference for yourself and for others. And I hope you'll join us again next time on Band Director Bootcamp for more productivity and wellness tips to help make your life a little easier.
That's a wrap on this episode of the Band Director Bootcamp podcast. Remember, success in music education isn't just about what happens on the podium. It's about taking care of yourself and setting up systems that work for you. The Empowered Music Educator Academy is here to help you do just that. So be sure to check out our resources at empowerededucator.com. And of course, a huge thank you to Kennelly Keys Music, our platinum sponsor, for their unwavering support of music educators like you. Whether you need instruments, accessories, or expert advice, their team is ready to help. Thanks for listening, and keep making music happen.